This is the Vivo X300 Pro. If the huge circle here isn't giving it away, it's meant to be a very camera-centric phone, and everyone knows it as the camera flagship. Since that's the case, let's start this review with the camera. Also, I took around 500 photos with this thing already, and I can't wait to share as many of them as I can. So, the Vivo X300 Pro has a 50-megapixel main camera, 50-megapixel ultrawide camera, and a 200-megapixel zoom camera that's a 3.5x telephoto. You are looking at samples from the main camera right now. Now, there are three main filter modes: Vivid by default, then Zeiss Natural to tone down the colors and contrast a bit, and a textured mode which amps up the contrast, plus a very cool black and white. I found myself constantly switching between them based on what the scene needed in the moment, so you will excuse me if I don't remember which photo was taken in what mode exactly. In general, photos from the Vivo X300 Pro come out excellent. Bright, vivid, sharp, instantly shareable. You can kind of tell that they have been processed quite a bit by the phone, but there are no outrageous telltale signs, so I don't mind. The photos look good, that's what matters. There are plenty of fun modes within the app that I haven't fully dabbled into yet. For example, there's a macro mode that can use the telephoto lens and it just looks breathtaking. Of course, you can also use the main camera for macro, but that telephoto makes it easier to be at a comfortable distance from a subject, and it provides a nicely compressed frame. Or a slow shutter mode that can make some real dreamscapey photos. Portrait photos also come out very good. Still, I do have two gripes with it. You can still kind of tell that the bokeh in the background is kind of fake. And also there's some sort of beautify function always on, even if you turn every one of the toggles off. To be fair, I prefer taking the portraits with this thing, the external camera lens. Now, this is a separate purchase and it will probably cost you about €200 on top. Also, it's a 200mm lens, so it's ridiculously long and not always optimal for portrait photos, but the results speak for themselves. I do think if you're going to splurge for this phone, the photography kit is worth it. The long lens is not just for zooming. You can take great mini storytelling street photos with a claustrophobic feel but authenticity to them. And I know what you want to know. How does it enhance the maximum zoom of the phone? Okay, here's a photo at 1600mm. That's about 66x zoom in smartphone lingo, without the added zoom lens. You will notice that the outlines look a bit crude and jagged. The AI was working overtime to reduce noise and redraw them. But take a very special note of the deer's snout. It kinda doesn't look right? Also take note of the windows at the top of the photo. They appear to be solid gray. Here's a photo with the telephoto extender, same length. Immediately the phone dropped the AI shenanigans and gave us a much more realistic photo. How do I know? The deer's snout was the actual picture that I was looking at, and in the photo without the lens, the AI had redrawn something that didn't make much sense. The windows at the top actually have blinders now, so that's what the great thing was. And here's the maximum zoom you can do without the lens. To be fair, very impressive imagery for 100 times magnification with just a phone. And this is the maximum zoom you can get with the telephoto extender on. It's 5600mm, so about 233x zoom in smartphone language. Now that is something. But okay, the telephoto extender lens is clunky. You have to carry it around, you have to remove and place the protective caps on it, then off of it. Whenever you have it on the phone, you can't use the main or ultra-wide lenses because they get blocked by it. Can you get away taking zoom photos without the telephoto lens? Well, check this out. This phone invites you to zoom with a pretty intuitive zooming wheel with preset positions and a quick response whenever you switch lenses. Up to 10x zoom, it's excellent. Beyond that, it is surprisingly good. Again, you can tell that there's been a lot of post-processing, but you can't quite put your finger on it. But with such quality at 100x magnification, I am not sure I even care. If I'm looking to capture the perfect, detailed, authentic and more realistic photo, I'd attach the telephoto extender. Well, no, I should probably use a DSLR then. But if I'm just taking scenery shots and memorabilia, I can't say that this doesn't work. Well, that was a lot, and I haven't even talked about the ultrawide or selfie cameras, so here are a few samples with those. The ultrawide camera is 0.6x, so 15mm, and its colors and dynamics are very close to the main camera. It also has excellent edge distortion correction. You can barely tell these are ultra-wide photos. The 50-megapixel selfie camera is also pretty good. Not so much for video, but excellent photos. Okay, we get it. What about the actual phone now? I'm glad you asked. Okay, you will notice the Vivo X300 series still have this distinct style with the massive round camera module. Funny enough, Vivo made a point to throw some shade at other manufacturers for going to a square or rectangular model a la iPhone. So let me even the scales a bit. The Vivo X300 Pro has an action button, just like an iPhone. It's on the same spot, its menu looks the same, it's the same thing. Well, that's a good thing, it's quite convenient. Actually, Vivo allows you to bind two different actions to the shortcut button, so it's actually better now. The design is pretty flat and stark, and I enjoy holding this phone. It's grippy and feels premium, the buttons are clicky, the colors and the matte finish are pretty cool. The performance is great. Origin OS 6 by itself is a pretty fast and efficient software that can launch apps lightning fast. This is the first phone with the new MediaTek Dimensity 9500, 3nm, even though the Oppo Find X9 Pro came shortly after with the same silicon. The Dimensity 9500 was actually developed in close partnership between Vivo and MediaTek, so it goes to reason it was properly optimized to work with the software. And check out the benchmarks, it is crushing it. The display on the front is a 6.8-inch AMOLED panel, 120Hz of course, and excellent colors. Vivo has this elaborate eye protection menu where you can choose from a plethora of comfort settings, including switching between PWM or DC dimming, and the phone has been calibrated for both modes so you don't get worse contrast or colors in either one of them. The speakers are loud and detailed, but they do compress and thin out a bit when you dial them to the max, so 7 out of 10 on sound. All in all, this is a very well-rounded phone. It leads in with the camera, it leads with some things that it copied from the iPhone, and then surprises you pleasantly with an all-round, well-made, snappy software, great performance, great feel. It's still not out yet anywhere in the world besides China, but what I have in my hands here is a global edition of the phone, so maybe soonish? What I do know for sure is that it will not come to the US, I asked, and internationally it will be priced in the ballpark of a 256 iPhone 17 Pro Max or Galaxy S25 Ultra. For this package, it is a fair price. If you manage to get a promo package with the photography kit, I don't know if that's going to be a thing, it would be an even better price. Did you like my photos? Like, sub, come back again next time. I'm out! Whoop! Hey!